Go over all the games happened on Thursday night. The first game is the Philadelphia Sixers beating the Detroit Pistons 109-98. Joel Embiid played, so that's great. Played 30 minutes, had 19 points, 9 rebounds, and a steal. Not sure what's up with Joel Embiid this year. He's the 44th ranked player as a big man. Usually big man in category leagues, the rankings tend to be a bit higher because they get a bunch of blocks. Averaging just 20 points, that's low for him. 8.8 rebound, that's also not great. 4.1 assists. I think I talked about him yesterday. He did play the back-to-back, but 44th ranked player for a guy that's injury prone. If you draft him into the end of first, beginning of a second, that's really not good. I'm looking to buy low. And look, if I can trade Miles Bridges plus somebody else for Joel Embiid, I would do it. Everybody's out this game. Matisse died. A bunch of Sixers guys, we gotta stream them before Tobias Harris comes back. Shake Milton, great, maybe a sell high. Matisse Thybulle, 1 steal, 3 blocks in 30 minutes, also great. In category leagues, we have to pick him up for defensive stats. Seth Curry, 23 points for threes, nothing else. And Tyrese Maxey, after this game, you gotta sell him high. This is your only opportunity if you try to get any value back for Tyrese. So far, he's 102nd ranked player in 9 category leagues. Why is his ranking so low? On the surface, it looks okay. 15 points, 3 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. So those 3 categories look okay. But at 51% from the field even. So he's shooting the ball pretty well. 85% from the free throw line. So those look fine, but he's averaging 0.9 threes and 0.7 steals and 0.4 blocks. Those are pretty low. I mean, there's not really one category that it stands out. Like, his best categories are his efficiencies, and his turnover is not that high. So I just don't think, he's given the minutes, right? He's not really doing much other than scoring and some assist. Georges Niang, in the short term, we could stream him, yes, until Tobias comes back. 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 threes, and a steal. And Andre Drummond. If Joel Embiid ever gets hurt, not ever get out for long period of time, we gotta quick fingers. Gotta pick up Andre Drummond. In just 18 minutes, he grabbed 10 rebounds. We know what this guy can do given the minutes. In fantasy world, at least. The Detroit Pistons, it's a debate, man. The guy gets huge minutes, Dwayne Casey loved this guy. Love to give this guy huge minutes. Again, he got 4 offensive rebounds. So he's a pretty good rebounder. Let's look at his rankings. I mean, it's pretty disappointing so far this season for sure. He's 133rd player so far this year. I think he should be a 100 guy. Averaging 13 points. He could average 15. 1.6 threes is pretty little. He's not shooting the ball well. 39%, and 7.5 rebound is really good. And if you need rebounds, a little bit points and threes, you could go him. I think at some point he's gonna start shooting the ball a little bit better. So I would not drop given the high minutes he's playing. So I would hold. Jeremy Grant played 38 minutes out of nowhere. So Kelly Olynyk only got 16 minutes. So is that going to be a trend moving forward? Jeremy Grant playing 35 plus minutes. He had a huge game, obviously. A steal and a block, 6 rebound, good. And I would look to trade Jeremy Grant, for, any top 30, 40 guy, because he's getting a lot of defensive stats at the moment. I'm not 100% sure those were sustainable. He's 63rd ranked player. So that's where, he's going to be, he's averaging 1.6 steals at the moment. Everything else is, 41% from the field is a bit low, but I expect him to be, around those top 70, 80 range in 9 category leagues. This is my expectation of him. Isaiah Stewart, finally played over 30 minutes, and still hasn't really put up, some crazy numbers. He's a 151st ranked player. Had 7 rebounds and still in the block. Just waiting to see him getting the block numbers up. Averaging 1.1. I mean, realistically, he could be average. For the season, I'm thinking about like 11, 12 points. 8, 9 rebounds with 1.5 blocks. So that should get him into top 80, 90 range. So I was still hold, and he does have upside. Who knows? Who he could figure it out and start breaking out. Killian Hayes played 28 minutes. So Killian Hayes, we could stream him at least for now for some assists and steals, right? This game he still got 28 minutes. Alongside Kate Cunningham. So I'll look to stream him for now at least, and the steals and the assists are really nice from Killian Hayes. Kate Cunningham, yeah, we gotta pick him up. He played 32 minutes. The percentage is rough, but he's not gonna average 10 rebounds. But I could see him averaging 15, 16 points, 5 assists. There's like good upside for this guy because he's the number 1 pick, and he should be running the show in Detroit. I don't know how, in terms of the counting stats, how much counting stats is he gonna put up, and how many defensive stats is he gonna get. So that would help his value. I do know one thing: he's gonna be fairly inefficient from the field. So just be ready. He's gonna destroy your field goals. He did this game. Kelly Olynyk, I would say still a hold for just a few more games. He had 4 personal fouls. If he didn't have 4 personal fouls, maybe he would have played 25 minutes. I would hold and see. If he plays under 25 minutes for like a week, he does have good upside. The first 2 weeks he had some nice games, and we know this guy is a fantasy monster. Given the minutes, the next game, the Utah Jazz beating the Atlanta Hawks. Donovan Mitchell was out this game. I don't think it's too serious. He could be back. They got a game tonight actually, so he could be back in the next game. With him out, we could think about picking up Joe Ingles. He played really well, 19 points, 5-3. If you can pick him up for some threes and assists mainly. Mike Conley also, I think right now is a huge sell high for Mike Conley. Where is he at? He's 45th ranked player. Guys that are ranked, like Vucevic is ranked 48th in 9 categories. If you do Mike Conley plus somebody else for Vucevic, right? Shea is ranked 42nd. It will be tough to get Shea. But Bam, if you can, it will also be pretty tough to get Bam. Anthony Edwards, try that. Yeah. Because he's going to miss the back-to-backs, and the past 2 games he played really well. I don't think he will be a top 50 guy. Maybe top 70, 80. So I think right now is the perfect time to sell Mike Conley. Just got to try it. Get some buy low targets. And Jordan Clarkson, yes. Without Donovan Mitchell, we have to pick him up and at least stream him. With Donovan Mitchell back, we could stream him for points and threes. He played really well this game. But again, no defensive stats. 30 points look really nice for threes. Rudy Gobert, 5 for 6, 15 rebounds, and 2 steals, no blocks. And Royce O'Neal, if you're counting the points, nice rebound, nice defensive stats, and 6 assists is obviously nice. He hit some threes as well. Bogdanovic also had a decent game, 23 points, and a steal. For the Atlanta Hawks, DeAndre Hunter continues 7 for 9, shooting close to 80%. If he's this hot, we could stream him if they got a back-to-back. But I'm not too interested. This is obviously not sustainable. John Collins took 7 shots, man. He is just a top 50 guy, Don't think he's going to be anywhere close to top 30 or 40. But 1 steal and 2 blocks is good. Clint Capella, 10 rebounds. Yeah, Capella has been disappointing this season so far. Well, he's still the 69th ranked player, as as bad as we think he played. 10.6 points. I mean, that's okay. He's not the scorer. 11.2 rebound. He could be, averaging 13, so he could push for a little bit more, and 1.3 blocks. So it just across the board, the stats is a tiny bit lower. So, you could try to buy low. He's a huge rebounder, huge field goal, and huge blocks guy. Just like Rudy Gobert. Very similar. And he played 36 minutes, so that's good. Bogdanovic, I don't think he's a must roster. And Trae Young, 34 minutes. This is disappointing. But this is who Trae Young is. Mainly, he's giving us the points and threes and free throws. And Trae Young's ranking in nine category leagues is not gonna be good because the weaknesses are he actually doesn't make that many threes, and he doesn't get defensive stats and high turnover, low field goal. Though this year he really improved his turnover rate actually, averaging only 3.1, so that's great. 22 points. Don't think he's gonna average 27, 28 like he did, a couple years ago when everybody was out and hurt. But he should still be solid enough. And Cam Reddish, this game, where is he at? Played 14 minutes. So let's not. He was the one that we could maybe potentially look to stream, and now the last two games have just been horrible. The next game, the Celtics finally had a good one. Beat the Miami Heat 95-78. I don't know if they played great defense, but Jason Tatum is still struggling, man. Huge battle, and he's not hurt. He's just missing all the shots. Yeah, and you can maybe try to get him Mike Conley plus Miles Bridges for Tatum. I think it'll be hard to say no for Tatum owners. I think Miles Bridges could be a top 30 guy, but Tatum is top 10, top 15, and you get an extra roster spot. So that's some trade scenarios that I could think of. He is struggling, but if he pounding field goal, come on, let's try to get him. Al Horford, his worst game, quote unquote worst game of the year so far, but still great. 10 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks, 2 threes. Again, Al Horford is a guy that actually it was a back-to-back for them, and he did play. So that's good to see, but he's still ranked super high. Yeah, he's ranked 8th at the moment. This is obviously not sustainable. It could be, I think, if he's getting the minutes, very safely he's a top 50 player. But if we can try, better idea, Al Horford plus Mike Conley for Tatum. They offer very different stats, obviously. The 2 point, once he start blocking, he's not going to average 10 rebounds, I don't think. He's not going to average 2.9 blocks. More realistically, like maybe 1.7. This is me talking out of my ass. 8.5 rebounds and 1.7 blocks. So given that, he's still like maybe top 30, top 40. If those two categories go down and everything else remain the same. And playing time remain the same, of course. Robert Williams is getting. Al Horford is taking his. He did get 10 rebounds, but no blocks. A buy low for Robert Williams, I would say. A buy low. Jaylen Brown, 5 for 14. An okay game from Jaylen. A steal and a block, 5 rebounds. And Marcus Smart, 2 for 6. An okay game from Smart. Smart realistically is a top 80 guy, but if you're punting field goals, he's a lot better. He's the type of guy that could potentially push up. He's ranked 110th on the season right now. This season he's only averaging 8.8, shooting 30%. So he's struggling from the field. I look at him as a top 80 guy, and he's averaging 2.4 steals. That's high. Realistically, 1.7 is pretty good for Smart. If he can average 1.7, maybe a buy low. Don't drop him in category leagues. Don't drop him. If you love some assists and steals, go try to trade Marcus Smart. See if he can do it. And if you pound field goal, that even better. Dennis Schroeder, putting up a decent level of. I know I disrespect Dennis Schroeder a lot, but he's putting up decent stats. 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists, 2 steals, a must roster. Doesn't really matter. He's getting close to 30 minutes coming off the bench, provide that spark and give you good points and assists. And steals, 2 steals, can't complain. For the Miami Heat, everybody played really bad. Jimmy Butler played 38 minutes. 4 for 8. His worst game of the season. And I think he remains to be a sell high. If you can get Jimmy Butler for James Harden, I don't think you need to think too much about it. If you can get him for Karl Anthony Towns, if you can get him, he's already actually, after this game, he's the 8th ranked player. But if you can get him for Anthony Davis, it's pretty similar, to be honest. But yeah, he's not going to average 24 points. He's not going to shoot 50% from the field. He's not going to average 2.6 steals. He's still going to be a top 10, top 12 guy per game basis. So there's really realistically there's only a few guys you could quote unquote buy low. Like I wouldn't do it for Damian Lillard. I wouldn't sell him for Damian. That would be kind of crazy. But maybe you can trade him for Damian and plus somebody else that you could potentially think about. But a hot start for Jimmy, a great start. Bam. The 2 steals is nice and 4 assists, his season high, I think. For Bam, I think we should look at him as a top 25 guy. So far, his defensive stats are lacking, and assist. If he can average 4 assists, that would still be great. Duncan Robinson took 17 threes. My God, hit 5. He's a 3-point streamer, as we can clearly see here. Kyle, they were probably down a lot throughout the game, so just need some threes. Kyle Lowry. It sucks. I think he exited the game. I think remain a buy low. Just because he's not scoring 20 points a night doesn't mean he's not good in fantasy. Like he grabbed 7 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals before and hit 2 threes. Those are pretty good lines in category leagues. And Tyler Hero struggled. Tyler Hero. If I didn't mention it before, he was also a sell high. I could see him averaging 20 points, but that 20 points, he's not a big guy like 3. He doesn't take that many threes actually. So mainly just the points. Like he's just averaging 20. Okay. So I'm not 100% sure he's gonna average 20. Could be 18, 19. But he doesn't do anything else. 2.53 so far is good. So just him versus Jordan Poole, I prefer Jordan Poole. Like he's gonna score average, 3 more points than Jordan Poole, but Jordan Poole is gonna get a lot more defense, and I think Jordan Poole is gonna make more threes, even though Jordan Poole only averaging 2.33 so far this season. So, Tyler here for Jordan Poole, that's something I could potentially look to make it happen. But he does grab a lot of rebound. That's something I forgot. Averaging 6 rebounds, so that's sustainable. But I'm not too high on Tyler Hero in points leagues. He might be a lot better. In category leagues, I'm not the biggest fan, just because he doesn't really get any defensive stats, and he doesn't make that many threes, and his efficiency could be an issue. But it's just a bad game for a lot of the Miami Heat players, so we could just move on. The next game, the Rockets losing to Phoenix Suns. The Rockets, we gotta keep an eye on them. There's a lot of I don't think Eric Gordon will be getting 30 minutes when we get to the end of the season. So those minutes gotta give it to somebody else. Like Kenny Martin Jr. is a guy that I'll be watching throughout the season. He only played 14 minutes here, but if the guy gets up to 30, I think we gotta roster him. He can do a bit of everything. Xianggu started in foul trouble. It's I think if Xianggu and Daniel Theis is obviously out at the moment. If Xianggu, he has a lot of hype, and I would look to trade him if he at the time is running out. Daniel Theis will come back, and we don't know if Shango will keep starting. If he keeps starting, then sure, like he has a ton of upside. But so far, I mean, he's a really, really good steals guy, but that's about it. I haven't really seen him do. He was horrible. 5 personal fouls in 20 minutes. It was -19. Yeah, I would look to trade him if he has a 20 points, 15 rebound, 3 blocks, and 2 steal performance. I look to trade him. Do a 2-for-1. Try to because his value swings a lot. One night he could be the best player, and the other night he could be the worst player in fantasy. Jalen Green, so far it's mostly bad. 3 for 14 again, and 8 for 8 from the free throw line is obviously good. Jalen Green is a guy that he will have the green light throughout the season, but can he do it? Can he get defensive stats? Can he get assists? Can he get rebounds? Otherwise, he's just a very, very inefficient version of Jordan Clarkson, right? Jordan Clarkson can give us 17, 18 points, 16, 17 points, maybe even more. And Jordan Clarkson can give us threes. And Jordan Clarkson is not as inefficient as Jalen Green. So, we got to think about, he does have better upside, but I want to see him do other stuff in other categories. Kevin Porter Jr., fairly efficient game for him, actually. 7 for 14. I mean, that's another average night. 6 for 6 from the free throw line for Kevin Porter Jr. That's great, 20 points. For him, it's all about the efficiency. He's putting up really, decent counting stats, in my opinion. Christian Wood, free throw, remember, just from now on, Christian Wood, if we draft him, we got to pound free throws. So bad from the free throw line. This year and also last year, 15 rebounds, great. 3 blocks, great. 18 points. If you pound your free throw, you could look at him as a top 20 player. Jae'Sean Tate played 33 minutes. We could look to stream Jae'Sean Tate for some field goal and defensive stats and rebounds. He did a bit of everything this game, and the minutes is pretty high for him. Eric Gordon could be a 3-point streamer, and that's it. Hit 12 points, 5 turnovers. Let's look at Phoenix Suns. Mikal Bridges, I'm not complaining about this guy. 7 for 11, 16 points is great, but where are the defensive stats? Where are the defensive stats? Mikal Bridges doesn't hurt you anywhere. Very, very efficient, good free throw shooter, good field goal guy, very low turnovers, 81st ranked player, averaging 0.6 steals. Come on, 0.7 blocks is nice. If 1.6 steals turn into just a 1.2 steals or just 1.1, he'll be inside of top 70 or 60, and this guy doesn't miss any games. But what's up with him? His rookie season, rookie season, he was averaging a lot of steals. Now the steals are gone. Jay Crowder didn't do anything. Just a streamer. DeAndre Ayton played well. 11 rebounds, 16 points, a steal and a block. And he was fouled out. So somebody on the Rockets was doing a good job. Devin Booker, 27 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and a steal. And a block. I would look to sell high on Devin Booker. He has a great name value. If I can trade him for Miles Bridges, I probably would, I'd probably take Miles Bridges, to be honest. I think Miles Bridges could be a top 40 guy. And Miles Bridges just offer way more stuff. Like Devin Booker is going to give you more points, sure. A little bit more assist. A better free throw. Even though Miles Bridges is not a bad free throw shooter himself. He should be around the 80 range. But that's something I would consider doing. I don't think in 9 category leagues, Devin Booker is not going to finish top 50. I don't think. And I think Miles Bridges can. So, who knows? Try that. Try that. Chris Paul, wow. This is a sell high. 9 points. So that's not too crazy, but 13 assists, 5 steals, and 2 blocks. It was against the Rockets, remember. So Chris Paul, after this game, he is ranked, 13th ranked player. Any top 20, like if I can get him for Zach LaVine, they're quite different. Zach LaVine give you more points. He is one of the best assists and steals guys. But 12 assists average, he's not going to average 12 assists. Mainly, he's a 2 category guy. assists and steals. Can he sustain the 2.4 steals? I don't think so. 1.6 is more realistic, and the 12 assists is also not realistic at all. And Chris Paul plus somebody else for James Harden, that's something I would look into do. Chris Paul for Damian Lillard straight up, I would do it for sure. But yeah, great game seeing Chris Paul. After the final, it was a tough loss for him. Just coming back and still balling. That's good. I mean, even though he's not bad, getting paid $40 million a year. The last game of the night, it was a bad game for the Lakers. They lost to OKC twice in a week. This is not a good look on the Lakers. I know LeBron was out. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, Lou Dort, could be a points and three streamer. He took 11 threes. Guys, teams were leaving him wide open, so there's a reason. There is Basley. 24 minutes. Wow, interesting. Maybe the coach realized he's so bad. Just, they might win some games if we don't give this guy 30 minutes a night. Those minutes went to Kendrick Williams. I know the main thing for Thunder this year is to not win games, just to develop young players. At some point, you gotta look at Darius Bazley and be like, he is not the future. He's not the present, and he's not the past. Like, he's nothing. He's pretty bad for us. So why not give the opportunity to somebody else? So we'll see. If Kendrick Williams started getting 30 minutes, he's a good fantasy player. We got to pick him up. Now it's just one game. If you really love Kendrick Williams, sure, you could pick him up, see where things go. Or just sit and wait. The minutes is a bit weird. Derek Favors usually don't play 20 minutes. Maybe it was matchup based. They got Dwight Howard, so want to give him more minutes. 11 rebound, 10 points is nice, but I don't think he's going to do this consistently. And let's look at Josh Giddey. 5 points, 2 for 9. That's not impressive, but 8 rebound, 8 assists, 3 steals and a block. He is a Draymond Green type of player. He can actually average more points than Draymond. Probably more threes than Draymond. But put up just nice stats across the board: rebound, assists, steals, and blocks. He's a must roster in category leagues. He's really, really valuable. So yeah, let's pick him up. Well, after this game, where's his rankings? Giddey. Not the best. He is the 93rd ranked player, shooting just 41% and 61%. 41% from the field. I think that's got to improve. And 61.5% from the free throw line. So he does have some efficiency issues, but he could be a top 80 guy this season. He's already at the 90 mark, and he's on a bad OKC team. He's gonna have 30 plus minutes every single night, so he could have a pretty big year, and have good years. Could be a very good fantasy player in the years to come. For the Lakers, Anthony Davis played 38 minutes. That's a lot of minutes, and this is somebody I could like. Too bad, like a guy like Cat is playing so well at the moment. I'm just trying to see if there's only a handful of guys you could try to sell AD high, but overall pretty good. If he's making 83% free throws, then he will be top 5 guy. For sure. And the 0.9 steals is also a bit low for AD. You have to nitpick. This game, everything was great, but the only thing is he was a minus 14. Avery Bradley played 31 minutes. Let's not worry about him. And Russell Westbrook, 27 points. I think Russell Westbrook got to be a sell high. If you can get any top, so Russell Westbrook is very polarizing, right? Majority of the teams probably they look at Russell Westbrook turnover numbers and free throw and field goal and be like, oh man, we don't really want Russ. But if your team is somewhat efficient, I would look to trade Russell Westbrook. Try to get any top 30 or 40 efficient player back. That's something that probably could make both teams better. And I think with LeBron out, Russell Westbrook in the next week or so, he's gonna put up some huge lines, and I look to sell high. And Carmelo Anthony right now, we gotta pick him up. 21 points, 2 steals and a block is nice. We don't expect that. But just the three, he's averaging over. Let's see. Oh my God, he is the 40th ranked player. He's averaging 3.6 threes. Like, I could see Carmelo averaging 3 threes a game and 15 points. So that's already like super good streaming value already. And if you can package him and some other guy to get a deal down, like, I would. But he's playing super well at the moment. Who knows? He might able to sustain 3.5 threes. I don't know. But we gotta pick him up. And that's it for all the games, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow.